Pinocchio. Sing with me. Pinocchio. Last we heard, Pinocchio had jumped into the sea to save his father. We're on chapter 24. What's going to happen now? Chapter 24. Pinocchio reaches the island of the busy bees and finds the fairy once more. Thought she was dead. In fact, didn't she say that she was dead when she came to the window to begin with? I too am dead. And Pinocchio said, "What are you doing at the window?" Anyway, Pinocchio, spurred on by the hope of finding his father and of being in time to save him, swam all night long. And what a horrible night it was. It poured rain, it hailed, it thundered, and the lightning was so bright that it turned the night into day. At dawn, he saw not far away a long stretch of road. It was an island in the middle of the sea. See, remember before I said that even young children can be brave? That's true. All of the good things and the virtues that adults can be, you can be that too, dear one, even if you're a child. Pinocchio tried his best to get there, but he couldn't. The waves tossed him about as if he were a bit of straw. At last, a tremendous wave tossed him to the very spot where he wanted to be. Sometimes heaven helps. The blow from the wave was so strong that, as he fell to the ground, his joints cracked and almost broke. But, nothing daunted, he jumped to his feet and cried, "Once more I have escaped with my life!" Little by little the sky cleared. The sun came out and the sea became as calm as a lake. Then the marionette took off his clothes and laid them on the sand to dry. He looked over the waters to see whether he might catch sight of a boat with a man in it. He searched and searched, but saw nothing except sea and sky and far away a few sails, so small they might have been birds. I think the man he was looking for in a boat might have been his father, but that's just a guess. If only I knew the name of this island, he said to himself. If I even know what kind of people I would find here, but whom shall I ask? There's no one here. The idea of finding himself in so lonesome a spot made him so sad that he was about to cry. But just then he saw a big fish swimming nearby, with his head far out of the water. Not knowing what to call him, the marionette said to him, "Hey there, Mr. Fish, may I have a word with you?" "Even two, if you want," answered the fish, who happened to be a very polite dolphin. "Will you please tell me if, on this island, there are places where one may eat without necessarily being eaten?" "There are," answered the dolphin. "You'll find one not far from this spot." "And how shall I get there?" "Take that path on your left and follow your nose. You can't go wrong." "Tell me another thing, you who travel day and night through the sea. Did you not perhaps meet a little boat with my father in it?" "And who was your father?" "He is the best father in the world, even as I am the worst son to be found." "In the storm of last night," answered the dolphin, "the little boat must have been swamped. By this time he must have been swallowed by the terrible shark, which for the last few days has been bringing terror to these waters." "Is this shark very big?" asked Pinocchio, who was beginning to tremble. "Is he big?" replied the dolphin. "Just to give you an idea of his size, let me tell you he is larger than a 5-story building, and that he has a mouth so big and so deep that a whole train and engine can easily go into it." "Mother mine!" cried the marionette, scared to death. He turned to the dolphin and said, "Farewell, Mr. Fish. Many thanks for your kindness." And an unmentioned kindness is the dolphin not bothering to correct him that he's a mammal, not a fish. But anyway. This said, he took the path at so swift a gait that he seemed to fly, and at every small sound he heard, he turned in fear to see whether the terrible shark, 5 stories high and with a train in his mouth, was following him. After walking a half hour, he came to a small country called the Land of the Busy Bees. The streets were filled with people running to and fro about their tasks. Everyone worked. Everyone had something to do. Even if one were to search with a lantern, not one idle man or one tramp could have been found. unlike maybe the city of Simple Simons? I understand, said Pinocchio. This is no place for me. I was not born for work. But in the meantime, he began to feel hungry. There were only two means left to him in order to get a bite to eat. He had either to work or beg. He was ashamed to beg because his father had always preached to him that begging should be done only by the sick or the old. He had said that the real poor in this world, deserving of pity and help, were those who, through age or sickness, had lost the means of earning their bread with their own hands. All others should work. Just then a man passed by, worn out and wet with perspiration, pulling two heavy carts filled with coal. Pinocchio looked at him, and judging him to be a kind man, said with eyes downcast in shame, "Will you be so good as to give me a penny? For I am faint with hunger." "Not one penny," answered the coal man. "I'll give you 4, if you will help me pull these 2 wagons." "I'm surprised," answered the marionette, very much offended. "I wish you to know that I have never been a donkey, nor have I ever pulled a wagon." Oh, that's foreshadowing. Shh, giving away secrets. "So much the better for you," answered the coal man. "Then, my boy, if you are really faint with hunger, eat 2 slices of your pride. And I hope they don't give you indigestion." A few minutes after, a bricklayer passed by, carrying a pail full of plaster on his shoulder. And maybe now it's time to switch to the next picture. Here we go. Here's Pinocchio begging. "Good man, will you be kind enough to give a penny to a poor boy who is yawning from hunger?" "Gladly," answered the bricklayer. "Come with me and carry some plaster. Instead of 1 penny, I'll give you 5. "But the plaster is heavy," answered Pinocchio, "and the work too hard for me." "If the work is too hard for you, my boy, enjoy your yawns, and may they bring you luck." In less than half an hour, at least 20 people passed, and Pinocchio begged of each one. But they all answered, "Aren't you ashamed? Instead of being a beggar, why don't you look for work and earn your own bread?" Finally, a little woman went by carrying 2 water jugs. "Good woman, will you allow me to have a drink from one of your jugs?" asked Pinocchio, who was burning up with thirst. "With pleasure, my boy," she answered. When Pinocchio had his fill, he grumbled as he wiped his mouth, "My thirst is gone. If only I could easily get rid of my hunger." On hearing these words, the good woman immediately said, "If you help me to carry these jugs home, I'll give you a slice of bread." Pinocchio looked at the jug and said neither yes nor no. "And with the bread, I'll give you a nice dish of cauliflower with white sauce. It's either in Italy." Pinocchio gave the judge another look and said neither yes nor no. "And after the cauliflower, some cake and jam." At this last bribery, Pinocchio could no longer resist and said firmly, "Very well, I'll take the jug home for you." The jug was very heavy, and the marionette had to put it on its head. When they arrived home, the little woman made Pinocchio sit down at a small table and placed before him the bread, the cauliflower, and the cake. Pinocchio did not eat. He devoured. His stomach seemed a bottomless pit. His hunger appeased, he raised his head to thank his kind benefactress. But he had not looked at her long when he gave a cry of surprise and sat there with his eyes wide open. Time to turn the page. Here's the full page. His fork in the air and his mouth filled with bread and cauliflower. "Why all this surprise?" asked the good woman, laughing. "Because," answered Pinocchio, stammering and stuttering, "because you look like You remind me of. Yes. Yes, the same voice, the same eyes, the same hair. Yes, yes, yes. You also have the same azure hair as she had. Oh, my little fairy, tell me that it's you. Don't make me cry any longer. If you only knew I have cried so much and suffered so. And Pinocchio threw himself on the floor and clasped the knees of the mysterious little woman. So, zoom in here. That's the end of this chapter, so I'm going to go ahead and put the ribbon in there. Oh, I'll go ahead and read you the chapter 25. Pinocchio promises the fairy to be good in the study, as he is growing tired of being a marionette and wishes to become a real boy. All right. Finally, we're starting to make some progress. But I have to say, I'm not sure why the fairy is floating ethereally up in the air like this. But anyway, here's Pinocchio at his meal. Lots of good food, fire. Home is good, isn't it? I just have a thought. Like, this is not the first time in a literary story that someone who has been dead is now alive again and is recognized in the eating of a meal.